I had to work with 4 other teammates in EECS and design a mobile app for a specific target group where it could be, let's say, politicians, or it could be urban elders, or anything like that. The next class that I took under this UI thread was device design. So this is working with master's students and the School of Information, where we would design objects like Fitbit or Nike Running. Has anyone used any of those here? Okay, so maybe 1, 2. Yeah, so how about who's heard of Google Glass? Okay, so everyone's heard of Google Glass. Google Glass is the type of wearable device that allows you to interact with computing in new ways. So rather than just through the sensor in your smartphone, you can get a lot of more accurate data through different sorts of devices that you have on your person. Like one project I really liked that came out of that class was a smart cup. So you pour all of your liquids into this smart cup and you drink it throughout the day, and at the end of the day you can go to your mobile app or the website and it'll actually tell you which liquids that you drank. So how much coffee did you drink today? How much lemonade did you drink today? How much wine did you drink today? If you want to drink wine out of a thermos. But it actually did this by first using Bluetooth sensors to connect it to the phone, and then also using the way that light reflects off of the color of the liquid, and then that's how it determines whether it's coffee versus Coke, since they're pretty similar in color. I took 2 more classes. One was AI, artificial intelligence, but I actually want to talk about the other courses that contributed to my device, human-centered design concentration, which is one course I took was mobile apps entrepreneurship, and then the other one was that I'm currently taking now is actually at Haas, which is innovation in services. So the different sorts of insights that I got from these classes, one was the fact that packaging is part of the product. So coming from an engineering background, I've always thought that the more functional types of products are the ones that should be winning. Like, why do people love iPhone so much when theoretically Android has faster processors or bigger screens or better memory, that sort of thing. But really it's about the type of experience that you get out of it and the way that it's perceived by others in our society, kind of like what you said. The objects that we have on our persona and the spaces that we carry them in really define the way we interact with other people. So one example I like to use is the fact that there was one study where they wanted to improve the speed of the elevator because it was running really, really slow and people were complaining. It's a pretty expensive hotel. And then instead of doing all the engineering work to increase the speed of the elevator by 10%, might have cost millions of dollars, instead what they did was they put mirrors around the elevator. So people would just look into the mirror and look at themselves while they're waiting, fix their hair, and then they didn't notice how long they were waiting. So part of that, even though a mirror is like $23 at IKEA compared to like $1 million fixing up the elevator infrastructure, it's that design focus that really changes the way that we're developing new applications as well as products today. The next, all right, so I'll erase these then.
Oh, great eraser.
Yeah, not such a great eraser.
Can we erase while you're...
Yeah, if you guys can water. I'll just talk about the next one while the next user insight that I got from these design courses was when you create products and create mobile apps, it's really important to fit in the existing ecosystem and make sure to really, really define the use case. So something that I really found trying to do my own startups while I was in school was I had this brilliant, innovative idea, in quotes, that it was basically a solution looking for a problem, a solution looking for people to actually use this sort of product. One example of this, one of my friend's startups is actually in this trend where, for the space, it was called other examples of fitting into this existing ecosystem. How many people have used Snapchat? So Snapchat would not have been successful if they didn't ask for you to access your phone book. So by just saying okay, like 5 years ago, there's no apps that can actually just say, let me just get all your contacts and then add them right away. So that solves a lot of the networking problem that comes with these types of social networking apps. And then also Piazza. Piazza is an app that a lot of PEACE classes use. It's getting adopted by more departments, but it helps GSIs and students collaborate because students can post a question at any time they want. GSIs can answer that question anytime they want, and it's visible for the rest of the class to see. So part of that interaction in office hours still exists, but it can also have that interaction online as opposed to just in office hours, where maybe many different students will be asking the same types of questions over and over again.
Is that okay? Use a
Yeah,
flag
this
to do it?
is totally fine. And they can bounce
Okay.
things. Yeah.
Being done screwed up, so it's-
And then the last sort of insight I had was, how can we use data to provide better services? So this is also a business trend where a lot of business majors like to use this term called big data. So as engineers, we always just scoff at it, but it really actually means something. So some examples of how you can use data to provide better services is the fact that at Facebook, so they designed Facebook for countries all over the world, like over 200 different countries, right? But each country uses Facebook in a different way than we do. So one example of this is in developing countries, some of their first computers are not actual PCs or laptops, but they're actually mobile phones. So if they're trying to sign up for Facebook and all they have is a phone, and they have no email, how are they going to sign up? So using this data, they actually change the sign up process. You can sign up with your phone instead of just an email. Another thing is the recommendation engine that powers the people you know. It's actually surprisingly accurate. They've done a lot of studies. Can I have some suggestions on what you guys think determines people you may know? How do they come up with a list of 5 people they put in the sidebar?
Mutual friends.
Mutual friends? Yeah, so if I know this person and my friend knows this person, more likely that I know this person.
So it's like the networks that you're in, like the schools you go to, your location, where you work.
Definitely, yeah. So those are all contributing factors. That one that you said has this fancy name. It's called the triangle closure algorithm. So you, me, and this other mutual friend form a triangle. And the more points that connect to that triangle, I mean, the more mutual friends they have, the more likely I'm going to get to know them. But the single most effective indicator of determining whether or not you know a person is whether or not you're tagged in the same picture. So that means you're actually present in the same physical space as that person, so you're most likely to be able to know them. So with these 3 insights, I want to try to design a UI in the short amount of time that we have. So I have an idea in my back pocket, but I want to see if, just as students, as you guys, what kind of things do you guys think that students do on a daily basis, and how can we create an app to help that experience? So any suggestions? Yeah.
Waiting in lines.
Waiting in lines. Yeah, so waiting in lines suck, and we're all impatient. All students are like super impatient, right? Yeah, so, okay, so that's one. So one is waiting in lines. Okay, so what else? So,
And to get food.
yeah, so students tend to be the type to eat out way more than normal people. So I'll add oh, you have another suggestion?
Say procrastination.
Procrastinate, yes. So I have one more that I want to add to it. So how many of you guys are part of the student organization campus? So pretty much all of you except one person. Okay. So student not actually that popular in other sorts of universities, and a part of that is just the culture of the campus, right? Because if more people are part of student orgs, that makes you want to be more likely to join them as well, and the diversity of those student orgs helps out too. So for each of these, so one, waiting in lines, there's different ways you can design apps to help you wait in line. So one is just the basic, people use Snapchat, they text their friends, they go to Facebook, they go to newsreaders. So even though the time in line is still the same, the experience is much shorter. Another way is to actually try to decrease the amount of time you wait in line. So one idea for that would be using your phone to check into line, and then while you do that, you go shop around the store, and then it'll just buzz you when it's your turn to go to the cashier.
Like getting them, when you get a thing at the butcher counter or something, you get a number.
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
make that an app or something.
Right. But then now you're no longer limited to just the area where you can hear the person yell 26.
Right.
You can go anywhere. You can actually leave the store if you want and just have it powered by text message or by app. So how about for eating out often? So a lot of us use Yelp because we want to try to just discover which sorts of restaurants are good to eat at. So for college students, since we eat out often, another sort of problem is, so who else is available to eat out for dinner? So when we live in the dorms, we can just knock on people's doors. Oh, are you free to go to Crossroads? Are you free to go to Cafe 3? But once we move into apartments, we have to be a lot more intentional with this behavior. So a popular app idea, at least in the Eats community, is like when to meet, or when can you meet for lunch with another colleague that just happens to be on campus, or like nearby friends that happen to have an hour gap available where you can have lunch. So for number 3, procrastination. So you could design an app where it gives you a to-do list based on your syllabi and the homework that you have in your class.
And it shocks you if you don't start.
So on the nights where you have an important assignment due, it could block Facebook from your browser.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
They have that, right?
Yeah, they do have something like that. So on mobile devices too, you could block Snapchat from opening. I don't know how technologically feasible it is, but and then the last one that I'll be designing an interface for would be the student org involvement. So all of us are part of student orgs, but the current process of discovering these organizations is mainly through 1, Calpalooza, 2, people badgering us with flyers and Sproul, and then 3 is the really poorly managed, I don't want to say poorly managed, okay, since this is a perfect time, I would say, but the old website where you can find an organization on CalLink, but no one really keeps that information up to date. Sometimes the contact information isn't up to date, so if you're even interested, you would be able to contact that person. So I have a piece of paper right here. So one of the things that I wanted to focus on when we design these interfaces, I follow a pretty set pattern. So one is, who's the target user? So who are the types of people to most likely use this app? So one is the student organization officers themselves. So one's officers, and then the other one is students looking to get involved. So this could be freshmen or transfers mainly. The next question I usually ask are, what are their types of different sorts of needs? So an officer's needs is to try to promote his vision and his mission for his student org across the rest of the campus. So you can reach as many people that you'd like to have in his organization as possible. So connecting talent or connecting people to his organization. So for students, you want to try to join something that you actually are interested in, something that has people that you enjoy being around and actually helps you pursue some sort of long-term goal. If that's finding a long-term partner, getting more friends, developing your career, developing your skills, etc. And then the last thing is, how does it compare to existing solutions? So 2 is, put it into an Android, or actually create the app in order to prototype it. All you have to do really is do the same thing I'm doing now, and then just start drawing on pieces of paper. Okay. So I'm gonna quickly put my app so that you guys can see it. So I'm gonna name it Berserkly, just for fun, and then discover your crazy, or discover your student board. Yeah, discover your passion. Oh, there you go. I'm gonna even leave the cross in there. So once you hit this get started button, after it goes through some sort of CalNet verification and login, it'll ask you for your interests. Tell us your interests. So one's like sports. You have a basketball, sports, or you have you have comedy. Then there's a lot of these boxes that you can check mark. You have social. You have service, departmental, religious, and then finally, once you actually indicate your interest, then you have the screen where now you have your search bar, you have your settings cog. I'm doing this really quick because I don't have much time. But you have clubs, you have events, and then you have events that show up in this linear fashion where you have, let's say, Asian Business Association is having a barbecue mixer. And then if you're interested in it, you can swipe right. And then if you're not interested in it, you can swipe left. And then by using